Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan. Say hi, Little Joan. Little Joan, who's ruined 2 takes of this video. Yes, you ruined 2 takes because you wouldn't stop barking in the other room. So go to sleep like a little bird. Um, Joan just would not shut up, and I did 2 takes of this. Oh, it was a nightmare. Anyhow, this is Joe Biden addressing some of the troops. Now, this is a guy who, in his town hall, called out Trump for a bunch of fake quotes that the Atlantic made up, in my view. And this is what he actually said.
Understanding what you may hear about me, I have incredibly good judgment. One, I married Jill. And two, I appointed Johnson to the academy. I just want you to know that. Just clap for that, you stupid bastard.
See, that to me is the true Biden kind of slipping out, because he's so old. His normal defense mechanisms that keep himself from blurting out bad things, they're crumbling. And this has happened before. Remember that guy who confronted him about guns? He called another guy fat. I mean, he just thinks he should be president. And anybody who doesn't want him to be president, well, F you. Vote for the other guy. Like, he's nasty. He's nasty in that way. He pretends to be nice, but really he comes off as very nasty to me. Which is why that, Harris is actually a good pick for him, because she's even nastier. Maybe that's why he picked her. She just laughs nervously at everything. And I don't know of anyone who could possibly believe those quotes about Trump. Calling the troops from World War II all sorts of names. I don't believe it. Trump's entire brand is loving the police and firefighters and troops and all that kind of stuff. That's classic Trump. Whether Bush was in office saying it or he was saying it, Trump has never had a problem. The idea that Trump would say something that openly stupid, I just don't believe it. I mean, and the sources, anonymous sources, even John Bolton. John Bolton, I think, would throw a puppy under a tank if he could get the United States to invade Iran. Even he defended Trump. And I think John Bolton's like the devil. So, Biden is, and then you have all these revelations coming out about Hunter and him now. Deeply, deeply corrupt things. I mean, it was bad enough that we have video of Biden just casually talking about how he blackmailed the president of the Ukraine, and no one cares. Like, no one cared when he said it because he wasn't running. But now that he's running and is the nominee, you're telling me this is a nothing burger? He blackmailed the president of the Ukraine, the exact thing you accused Trump of. Only Trump didn't do it, and Biden clearly did on the tape. He bragged about it, he laughed about it, and he did it on behalf of his son, Hunter Biden. Now, my crazy theory is that Hunter may be a CIA, either he's an agent or an asset, because it would be the perfect cover. It would be the absolute perfect cover. He's the drunken, disgraced son of a U.S. senator. It would make sense that he's able to, have all these networks and contacts. It would make sense that he could get away with murder. When guys go undercover, whether it's a CIA or a cop, one of the big problems is, if people get scooped up and your undercover guy gets scooped up too, you can't arrest them, right? You got to pull him out somehow and somehow come up with an excuse why you didn't arrest him, or, take him out, or whatever the CIA does. But with Hunter, he would have a built-in excuse. Well, obviously, his vice presidential father got him off. And certainly Burisma is tied into, because it's an energy company and it's in the Ukraine, the Russians wanted to build a gas pipeline from Russia to Europe. The United States was desperate to stop them. By acquiring Burisma or control of it, That made it nearly impossible for the Russians to build the pipeline. And that, I think, is the ultimate reason why Hunter is probably involved in it. Now, he may not be a CIA guy. Either way, they can't tell you. They can never tell you, because the CIA, contrary to popular belief, is still a secret organization. Its agents are supposed to be secret. So if he's still doing these deals, then they can't expose him. And if he's just a CIA cutout, they still can't expose him. Because either way, that'll ruin their deal. And who knows what cases they got going on. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes. So, but that still doesn't excuse this. You know, if Hunter is actually involved in that, then he just has to take his lumps, and Biden, you know, he's making the best excuses he can, but really he's lame at it. The bigger news is that the Obama administration knew about the Steele dossier. They knew about its origins. They knew it was bad intel, and they basically foisted it upon the FBI to get Trump. The Obama administration actively went after Trump. They went after the Trump campaign. Just highly, highly illegal. It's the most illegal thing you could do in this country, in fact. You know, what Obama did, Nixon could only dream about. Nixon wanted to do stuff like that, but the technology wasn't there. Obama actually did it. And he still effed it up. You know, because part of the deal is, like I've said before, that episode of The Simpsons where Homer is lying and lying and lying and lying. And finally Lisa says to him, "Dad, why do you keep lying?" And Homer goes, "Lisa, honey, if Daddy's lie is believed this time, then all his other lies will be true. If Hillary Clinton gets elected president, then it doesn't matter. All these crimes go away." But she didn't get elected. And now all these crimes are here, and they're slowly being exposed. And what that means is a lot of guys, it doesn't mean the Clintons are going to jail or the Obamas or anybody else important. It means all their underlings are going to fall on their sword and go to prison. Doesn't matter if they can give up somebody above them, because they know that they'll never, their testimony, they can't cut a deal. They won't cut them a deal. People like that, you know, if you work for the Clintons or the Obamas or somebody at that level, you're basically disposable, and you know that going in. That's part of the reason you're there. You're there to fall on your sword for them. You could try to cut a deal and throw them under the bus, but they'll just use their connections to make sure you serve even more time. But Biden was clearly involved in that. Clearly. In fact, he suggested using the Logan Act against Flynn. And if you want a breakdown of this, check out Tim Pool's video on it today. So if Biden will do that, I mean, and you look at the unscrupulous nature of Kamala Harris, her entire political career is completely, in my view, unethical. I mean, the whole reason she's senator is because she slept her way to the top. She did. Look, in order to become a senator, you got to have you got to be an up and coming star. You got to have the juice. She was banging the most powerful political figure in San Francisco at the time. That's why she is senator. It's the number one reason. Has nothing to do with anything else. If she had not gotten that bump from Willie Brown, that's his name, right? Willie Brown. Forget it. Her career would go nowhere. She'd be just another prosecutor in California. You know, maybe she'd be DA, maybe she'd be a state senator or something. She wouldn't be senator of California for life, basically. You know, as soon as this vice presidential run crashes and burns, she goes right back to the Senate. Yeah, and then she could be angry and bitter and vote against everything Republicans do, and in 5 years she could reinvent herself as a rebel senator, the female John McCain or whatever. You're ruining another take, doggy, but I've tricked you. I'm almost done. So anyway, I think you're out of your mind if you're going to vote for the Democrats in 2020. The Democrats. Yes, John. Okay. The Democrats. The Democrats in 2020 have to lose. They have to lose. And I haven't even talked about the mail-in ballots, which is a clear attempt for them to cheat. They've tried everything. They can't win on policy. They don't know what their policy is anymore. So they're trying to cheat. They're trying to do everything to destroy Trump. And it's not about Trump. It's about them wanting power. And I think some of it is to avoid going to jail or have some of their friends go to jail. Maybe to avoid Hunter going to jail. Maybe, CIA guys go to jail. Certainly their cutouts do. You might have to keep up the cover. That might be part of the deal. But Biden is deeply, deeply corrupt. And this entire round of Democrats just needs to be ousted from Washington. We need a clean slate so the Democrats can rebuild on a completely different platform. They're rife with corruption. You could just see the kinds of people who are supporting Biden. Bill Kristol and all the neocons, all the never Trumpers. They're all neocons. They love Joe Biden. All the former presidents love Joe Biden. George W. Bush included. They all hate Trump. It's because he's anti-establishment, and they hate that. He's blowing up all their deals. So the Democrats have to be forced back into populism, because if they actually valued democracy, Bernie Sanders would be their candidate. And he would lose, but at this point, I think he would do better than Joe Biden. I really do. It would be a battle between socialism and Americanism, basically, but that's a good battle. We'd win that. But, at least the ideas would be out there. Joe Biden doesn't have any ideas. Joe Biden's, they're totally concocted. That town hall was completely a concoction. Trump said these terrible things about the troops. There's no way he said those things. It's just an outright lie, I think. And you're perpetrating, and I think he's knowingly perpetrating that lie, for as much as Biden can even remember where the F he is. So you can't vote for the Democrats. You just can't. Vote for anybody else. Look, you got the Greens. They could use your vote. Let the Greens have a good showing this time around. Let the Libertarians need your vote too. They're practically the Greens this time around. Look at their platform. Yeah, don't get me started on why the Libertarians are a mess this year. But Joe Biden he's just the worst. Please, don't vote for him.